Senator Tom Cotton has a front row seat to the Democrats' impeachment theater. He'll serve as one of the 100 jurors in next week's trial, and he joins us right now. From the great state of Arkansas, Senator Tom Cotton, how are you, Tom?
I'm good, Trey. It's good to be on with you. Good to see you guest hosting this week.
Thank you. You know what I had going through my mind when I heard cowardice? If I'm not mistaken, you signed up for combat after law school, not JAG, but combat. So coward would not be a word I used in connection with you. What do you think about what she said?
Trey, maybe I joined the Army as an infantry officer as just a reflection on what a bad lawyer I was, unlike you. You know, I heard Speaker Pelosi say today that next week we'd see if we have a Senate of cowardice or courage, but we know we have a House of fools because they elected Nancy Pelosi to be their Speaker. I mean, look what they did in this impeachment, Trey. They didn't have a single hearing, not a single witness, not a single document. They rushed it over to the Senate, but then they didn't actually deliver the papers in time to have a trial. Now they want to proceed with a plainly unconstitutional impeachment proceeding to convict and remove a man from office who left office 2 weeks ago. I think the American people think it's pretty strange that Democrats are still obsessing about Donald Trump when we're actually trying to address the problems that they face, whether it's people who are out of work or can't get hours or can't get vaccinated or have their schools closed. That's what the Democrats should be focused on. That's what I'm focused on.
Now, you're married to a real prosecutor. I did it. I was average, but I did it for a long time. We couldn't make defendants testify, and you can't draw a negative inference if they don't. In fact, it's the opposite. What are the House managers talking about, making him come testify? I mean, if they think he's committed a crime, doesn't he have the right not to incriminate himself?
You would think so, Trey, and also it contradicts exactly what they've been saying for the last 3 weeks. They've been saying they didn't need to have hearings, they didn't need to have witnesses, they didn't need to have documents, that the evidence was manifest, it was in front of everyone's eyes on TV, that we all saw it. If that's the case, why are they asking Donald Trump himself to come testify in person?
What do you expect next week, Senator? Do you think they're going to call witnesses? Will there be examination, cross-examination, exhibits like a real trial?
I don't know, Trey. I have not heard the legal strategy from either the president's legal team or from the House managers. As a juror, I'll sit and I'll listen to what everything is said, but my opinion has been very clear from the day the House passed this rush to impeachment that it's beyond the constitutional authority of the Senate to have impeachment proceedings to convict and remove from office a man who has already left office.
Now, I served with you for a number of years. You do your homework. So for you to reach the conclusion that trying a president who has left office violates the Constitution, there must be a reason for it. What led you to that conclusion?
Well, Trey, you can just look at the Constitution itself. It says explicitly the president, the vice president, and all civil officers of the United States will be susceptible to impeachment. Donald Trump is none of those things at this moment. And usually when the text of any law, to include the Constitution, is plain, that's the end of it. You don't have to do much more research. Now, I would also point out that the Democrats have not invited Chief Justice John Roberts to sit at this impeachment trial, as the Constitution requires the Chief Justice to sit at any trial of the president. That just further reinforces that the Democrats know that they are not holding a trial of the president. They're holding a trial, really an inquest into a private citizen. It's not constitutional, nor should it be the focus of the Senate right now when we're still dealing with this pandemic and mass unemployment.
Now, you mentioned the pandemic. What are some of the other things the Senate could be doing? If 45 members of the jury say you don't have jurisdiction, you're not ever going to get a conviction. So you're going through with a trial where you cannot get a conviction. What could you be doing and should be doing instead of this?
Well, Trey, I wish we were working in a bipartisan fashion to try to address the needs of the American people. For example, improved vaccine distribution in certain states. But look at what Joe Biden and the Democrats are doing now. Joe Biden, after preaching unity, is governing from the hard left in a highly partisan fashion. Trey, as you know, we passed 5 bills last year, spending more than $4 trillion to help combat this pandemic. And a lot of that money is still not spent. The average vote on those bills was over 90 U.S. senators out of 100. In many cases, we had a unanimous vote. Yet the very first thing Joe Biden does is go to the hard left and refuse to cooperate with any Republican. And now we're voting tonight on their budget, and look at what some of these some of these amendments that Democrats are voting down. 50 Democrats just voted against withholding COVID relief money from schools that don't reopen even after their teachers are vaccinated. Another 50 voted against denying money to cities and counties that don't cooperate with immigration enforcement. 42 out of 50 Democrats voted to give stimulus checks to illegal aliens. It goes to show just how partisan and how radical the Democrats in Joe Biden's Washington are governing right now.
Senator, we got about 1 minute, but it seems like some Republicans are of the opinion that if you're going to go forward with this impeachment trial, we're going to have a difficult time confirming your cabinet, and he's chosen impeachment over cabinet. We got about 45 seconds. What's your reaction to that?
Well, that's right, Trey. I mean, once the Senate is sitting as a court of impeachment, it takes precedent over all other business. So my suspicion is that next week we won't have any votes to confirm any of Joe Biden's cabinet. He has a few of his cabinet members already confirmed, but this is just going to push us further into February, getting Joe Biden's cabinet confirmed. It goes to show again what their priority is. Their priority is to continue to obsess about Donald Trump, even after he's left office more than 2 weeks ago, and we have a lot of problems that we should be addressing.
Tom, thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy your jury service next week.
Thank you, Trey.